Hi and welcome to Talk Solent, the show where we give our opinions on news that's cropped up this week. I'm Jonathan Hines, and joining us on the sofa today, giving us their opinions and expertise, are Holly Loveland, radio presenter at UK Talk Radio, and Daz Stevens, a charity fundraiser and London Underground Challenge contender. Now first, many of us will be familiar with the hustle and bustle of the school run. Now Portsmouth, we learn, is amongst the worst in the country for illegal parking by parents on zigzagged areas of the road outside schools. Plans for CCTV to catch offenders, estimated at a cost of £54,000, are to be discussed next week. More details in a moment, but first, is this a good investment of taxpayers' money, or should there be just less cars on the journey to school? Now, Holly, welcome to Talk Solent. It's the first time you've been on, isn't it?
Yes, it is my first time being on here.
I know you can talk for Hampshire, or even talk for England. But
yeah, that's very true. I can do that.
Holly, it's not so long ago you were at school. What do you think of this one, CCTV to catch parents that are parking where they shouldn't be parking at the beginning and the end of the school day?
I think it's a good idea because that area, the zigzag area, is not really meant to be for parking. So I remember I used to take my driving lessons. That was one of the rules, was don't park on those zigzags, just keep it clear. So if there is some car that goes, just going to stop here, park here, and they say they get out of the car, they go off, and then as CCTV captures them, they get done for it. And I think that's a good idea to have CCTV stop cars from parking in that area, because it isn't parking area. It should be clear for schools, for the children, you know. So I think it's a good idea.
Daz, whenever it's a school run, I mean, the amount of cars is just, it really is, it's chaos.
It amazes me, Jonathan, because the catchment area of a school, presumably the children don't live any further than half a mile away from the school anyway, so why are they travelling there in a car?
Often in 4x4s, aren't they? Some of them, travelling in luxury.
I'm going back a bit, but as a child myself, my parents would say, just get on your bike. And, but it's something that's accepted these days, and I think with the zigzag lines, it's just something that you need to be educated on. You know?
So this is going to be a total cost of £54,000 for the cameras in the Portsmouth area. Is this a bad use of taxpayers' money, Holly?
Yes and no. I think it needs to be done, but it is quite a lot of money. So I feel like they shouldn't, in a way, I'm probably going to go back on what I just said, but they shouldn't pay more money to have cameras, because that should be something that people shouldn't be doing anyway. It should just be, it's a keep clear area. It clearly says it on the floor, don't park there. But then if there is the odd car or someone who seems to just ignore that rule, then there should be some sort of camera to catch it. But then it should be something that probably shouldn't be spent that much on a camera on.
I always walked to school, but then it was less than half an hour. The walk, and you know. According to the council, parking officers came up with a plan after a survey of parents, teachers and school governors showed 84% believed pupils were at risk on the road outside their schools. And the numbers are 50% above the national average. So Portsmouth's one of the worst places in the country. I mean, obviously we want to have reduced the amount of cars, or the amount of children travelling into school by car, but how realistic is that? Do you think we can cut the amount of journeys into school by car?
For me, it's a no-brainer, Jonathan. You know, if the school's a 20-minute walk away, then leave early and walk. But you know, I can't. I mean, my children left school long ago. You know, and their schools were always so close that you wouldn't have taken a car to get them there. But that's just me.
Yeah, I'm sure many people will agree with you. I mean, it really is. When you go past a school, it's just. I mean, sometimes I'm cycling, and the roads are literally, what's the word? Not blocked. They're just congested. There's so many cars outside the school, and it's just, what a way to live, you know.
No, unless there are situations where the parent needs to go somewhere else directly afterwards, and I can understand that maybe, you know, they're the kid needs to be dropped at school at 9, they need to be at work at 9:30, then there is a bit of that. But
and it's not really helping with the, we're always talking about childhood obesity. It's not really a measure that's going to do much about that, is it? It's just like treating the symptoms rather than the cause, really. Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of children do walk to school.
And some probably even want to. They love to. They want to get away from their parents as quick as possible. And if you've got someone to walk with, it's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So moving on to the Isle of Wight now, and a rather shocking letter to the county press from Liz Bell of Seaview and Alan Cherry of Binstead, urging the resignation of Councillor Reg Barry after comments he made about people who've moved to or retired to the island from the mainland who he says have done no good for the island, and even that they have made it worse. More about these comments in a moment, but first, could Councillor Barry have a point about people moving to the island, changing it, people who've come from the mainland, changing it for the worst, or is this just downright arrogant and narrow-minded? Now, could these comments, Daz, have been taken out of context? I mean, he's saying that he thinks, almost that people from the mainland, are spoiling the island, and he doesn't want them moving to the island from the mainland.
I'm not sure. Like. I'm not familiar with. Is it Councillor Barry?
Councillor Reg Barry.
Maybe he was just trying to make some kind of a joke, but I'm not really sure. What makes the England and the UK interesting, I think, is that you always get this mix of people from other places, and so I'm not so sure if the island. If the Isle of Wight was just full of people that are originally from the island, then no,
a bit provincial, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I think we're safe, Holly and Daz, because he's mentioned Cockneys and Northerners. Well, none of us three are Cockney or Northern, so maybe we'd be welcome over there.
Well, I was born in London, but I
spent 3 or 4 years in London living. Yeah.
It's I don't know. Maybe you have to adopt a white accent, whatever that is. It's.
So this is a Lib Dem councillor. Is this someone you'd want to vote for, Holly?
No, not really. He sounds a bit narrow-minded. He sounds a bit, funny, racist in a way. Let's not let Cockneys in. Let's not let Northerners in. We don't like them.
No.
It's like. No, I don't know.
Like these foreign accents.
No.
Well, it's like you could say it's worse than racism, couldn't you? Because he's talking about people from the UK.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to what we read, he's saying, well, the writer of this letter, Liz Bell from Seaview, says, goodness knows what he must think of people speaking a foreign language, having a different skin colour or any other religious belief than his. And he doesn't think that people should. He thinks that people that retire to the island are not doing any good for the island. I don't understand that.
Where are you supposed to retire to anyway?
Well, definitely not there.
I can't take Councillor Barry seriously, to be honest.
No, it is, and also Alan Cherry of Binstead said, not only do my who's retired to the island, he says, not only do my partner and I find this comment insulting, but also discriminating. I suggest, Reg Barry, in the future, you choose your words more carefully. Could it be, playing devil's advocate, that he's just phrased it very badly? People come out with things and then maybe it's taken out of context. I mean, I had a look to try and find out exactly what he's been saying and what problems they're supposed to be causing on the island, but I couldn't find anything.
I think only Councillor Barry would know that.
That's right, yeah. Daz, the last time you were on, I know you do a lot of charity fundraising. You're very knowledgeable on the London Underground. You've done the London Underground, the Tube Challenge, as it's called.
Yes, the Enduring Tube Challenge.
Yeah. Where are we at with that now? Because your friend Andy James, who's been on the show.
Yeah. Mr. James is the current world record holder, and we're both involved in a project for children in need. I think it's November the 18th, and this will be filmed by an independent London film company. More for the fundraising aspects of it, but also to delve into the weird and wonderful tube challenges and all these different characters that are involved, because there's a whole community there.
People,
yeah, and I hope it's the thing with a tube challenge. You're never sure what's going to happen on the day. As you know, with London, anything can happen, and with the London Underground, anything can happen. The whole thing can collapse, and I think that's part of the excitement of it. Not knowing if this is going to be a success or not.
And we've got an item about the London Underground towards the end of the show. I think we've got about 1 minute left before we go to a break. In a nutshell, what is the Tube Challenge? How does it work? What do you have to do?
The Tube Challenge is there are 270 stations, and you must visit every one during the day, and you need the whole day.
Right.
Yeah. You must arrive or depart at each station. 270. It's very stressful and very tiring.
It's 16 hours is the record, isn't it? 16 hours something.
But I can't get anywhere near that.
And you don't actually have to get off at every single stop. You just have to put your one leg, put one foot on the platform.
No, not even that.
You just have to stop there.
Yeah, it just has to arrive and depart. So you do need to take photos of each station if you can.
Yeah. And if you want to let us know stories that we can be talking about, then do email us on talk@thatsolent.com or tweet using the hashtag #TalkSolent. Coming up, we'll be talking small businesses and a very talented newcomer to the radio industry. No, not you, Holly, someone else. Back with you again very shortly after this.